verse 3, verse 6. Use them. And even though the words still appear anywhere in the I think the idea permeates the entire text. Okay, and there are 7 of these that are mentioned here. Now, please understand to be an exhaustive list. In fact, most Bible are not exhaustive. Most or present just being spoken of. Here there are 7. Why 7, you think? It's a number in the Bible. Perfection. And so I think an entire of things that God presents. And when he presents these things to us, what does he anticipate us being? No. That word right there. Stewardship. Yes. If somebody gave you a large amount of money and said, I'm giving this to you, but if you don't use it, you have to pay it back to me. Wisely to you and wisely to them might mean two different, but they're actually telling you to be a good steward. When we give on Sundays to the church, we're practicing stewardship of one of the blessings God has given to us. We need to understand that, and we need to stewardship. And now the next 7 gifts is an issue for discussion. Okay? Are they extraordinary or miraculous? Non-miraculous. Anyone? They're miraculous, okay.
They're miraculous in the sense of the time that they were written, but a practical version of the miraculous can be assigned today.
Okay. Yeah, Mark?
In verse 3, he talks about a measure of benefit. Or in terms of the inspiration given to faith by measure. He's talking about inspiration. He had full inspiration, just like the apostles. All power was given to them. These were given just a measure of faith. They were given a certain gift, a miraculous gift.
Mm-hmm.
These are miraculous gifts he's describing here.
Okay.
Because we can look at another miraculous gifts.
Okay. Is it possible that there's 7 gifts, both miraculous and non-miraculous? Other gifts, lists of gifts, have both. 1 Corinthians 12, 8 through 10, Ephesians 4, 11, 1 Peter 4, 11. And I think this one does too. Which category do you think that would fit in?
Literal, it's miraculous.
In the literal, miraculous. But what are you going to... Go ahead.
But the characteristic of a was one who was a truth teller.
Truth teller, okay.
So, who is a preacher today is supposed to be a truth teller.
Okay. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Because, honestly, some of the illustrations, and I say they kind of happened, or maybe didn't happen. I'm just kidding. For illustrative purposes, it's okay. Hyperbole, that's what it's called. Yeah. So anyway, In the first century, though, writers didn't necessarily differentiate between the non-miraculous because all gifts were seen as God. So let's look at these 7 gifts I mentioned. Wow. Okay, I missed a couple of clicky on this thing. Okay. What on earth? Oh, wait. That's what. All right, there we go. The 7 gifts identified. First of all, gift of prophecy. A prophet was a spokesperson or spokesman for another. In New Testament times, who was a prophet speaking for? God, yes. Hired speaker for God. 13:1, Acts 15:32, etc. What does 1 Corinthians 13:8 prophecy? You can look it up if you want to. Where there are tongues that prophecy, it will cease, pass away. But the good news, God has preserved the essential part of what the prophet said for us in the New Testament. He's provided us with what we need for life and godliness through our knowledge of him who called us by his own glory. So even though this gift is passed away for us, but prophecy in proportion to our faith. In proportion to our faith. Proportion is a translation of a word means analogy, ratio, proportion. Imagine that, right? Our faith, when he says it here, actually it doesn't say our faith, it's a definite article. It's in proportion to the faith. The faith referring back to the faith that God has assigned. Using in proportion to the faith. Says this, quote, against going beyond what God has given. Unquote. In other words, a prophet was to speak only the message God had given them. Nothing more. Why would that be significant? Don't add to it, don't take from it. And we often cite Revelation, the end of Revelation, prophecy of this book, and a lot of people apply that to the entire Bible, but it's really meant, I think, to apply to the book of Revelation. The book of Revelation is a book of prophecy. Jesus wins. That's the prophecy. Two. But anyway, we're not talking about Revelation, we're talking about anyway. Equate this with preaching today. They say, well, the preacher is God's spokesman. No, this is God's spokesman. The preacher takes what's in here and possibly that's a way that some put a preacher on a pedestal. You know, they hold him up as, oh, well, he is God's spokesman. And thus he can't be questioned. No. Like I said, you would hire another person just like another person to be in that position. Irreplaceable. You are irreplaceable, by the way, just so you know, so don't get any ideas. I I don't agree with it. I don't see means of you know, I don't like that. Anyway,
Where in the Bible when they said, when an angel appeared, and whoever he appeared to,
mhm.
bowed down to him.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, even angels aren't worthy of worship. Oh, man. Where was that? That was. Get up, I'm a man like you. Anyway, it's in there somewhere. See how good that was? The Bible with somebody?
I think that's when the, Peter went to the, Corinthians
Mm-hmm.
to preach the gospel to them.
Mm-hmm.
And because it is, one of the men had,
Yeah, and he said, get up. Okay, there's a message there for a large religious. There's a message there for a large. It melting and being blind. Okay, so, oh, look, Terry. Hey, there's people back there. That's pretty cool. Okay. All right, so, next. The word, it means service, or sometimes this word is used to refer in the church, such as, what? If I told you the Greek word is diakonos, what would you think it sometimes may refer to? That was exciting the way you said that. Deacons, yeah. 1 Timothy 3:10 and 3 that way. Sometimes the word is used in 1 Timothy 4:6 and 2 Timothy. However, most of the time this word appears or is used, it refers to any service to another. Okay, just any service. 22 is a good example of that. Romans 15. Romans 16:1 is an example. Romans 16:1. About a lady named Phoebe, who say was a deacon in the church at Centuria, right? But she was a servant. The word means to. It doesn't mean that she held the office of deacon, it meant she served. And guess what? Ladies, you can serve the congregation. Just not doing stuff during the worship assembly. You know, some people say, no, it doesn't. There are plenty of opportunities to serve, plenty of opportunities to minister. And so anyway, but then again, we're not talking about that either, are we? 1 Corinthians, there are varieties of service, but so some people seeing what needs to be done, whatever, getting it done. You see something that needs to be done, and they do it, or they find someone to do it.
You mean like yesterday in the parking lot?
Right. Monitors just rolling their eyes because and Robert sees something that needs to be done and he does it. It's and those type of people, would we say that they are replaceable in the body? Absolutely not. Because they have that special gift, if you will. Gift of teaching is mentioned. This gift with instruction. Kind of convenient because that's what instruction. Some people are imparting information to others. Some people can impart information to others, but they do so in such a way that the others do not understand. My high school people. Now, he said a lot of stuff, and I was like, but hey, I was in an honors, which I guess nowadays would be called AP. He told us the difference between the honors chemistry and the regular chemistry class was one experiment. You'll never guess what that was. We got to watch ice melt. That was really exciting. Anyway, able to present God's truth in a way, and they just have a knack. Then there's the gift of exhorting. I had to work really hard because this last week I was reading through this, and for some reason the word in front of people. I mean, that would be bad, right? If sports. Okay, anyway, the word means to call. It's somebody who, the imagery is of call for the purpose of helping them. It could also encourage, counsel, or even strengthen. Some individuals have a talent for encouraging. Don't know anybody like that? Not yet. Not yet. Okay, we're going to talk. But keep that in mind. But in your personal life today, do you know anybody like that? That encouraging other people? Are you saying, yay, me or Sonny? Oh, okay. All right. I wasn't sure what he was doing. Just sitting there going, I was like, oh, okay. Anyway. And that's, and yeah, the point is we know people. Okay? The gift of contributing. Back when the NIV was first, they translate, God has first given us money, whatever it is, time that we are given. I believe that the gift presupposes the ability to make money. A talent for making money and some do not. A talent for spending money. The problem is they don't make the money, you know. It kind of is you know, that's not a good thing to have the talent to spend money. And it always ends up, as Avon Malone would say, there's too much at the end of my. Anyway, well, first of all, there's nothing wrong with making money as long as we do not neglect the more important matters, and as long as we make use of that money. That word that appears there is a word that means sincerity, uprightness, or frankness. I said, now wait a minute. Where on earth do we come up with generosity or liberality from simplicity or sincerity? It's actually related or singleness of purpose. Singleness of heart, which generosity. So if he giveth, let him do it with simplicity. If you happen to have the complete Jewish Bible, you probably have that at home on your bookshelf, right? it this way, if you are someone who gives, do it simply. The complete Jewish. Now, giving of Jesus in Matthew 6, when he talks about giving. What does Jesus say in Matthew 6 about giving?
Don't let your left hand know what the right hand is doing.
Don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. So this morning, when we pass the plate, money in with your right hand and money in with your left hand, because then I'm just kidding.
Just checking in.
Oh, boy. The next gift is of leadership. Some people have a natural talent for inspiring people to follow them. If they do, what might we call them today?
Someone in authority?
Someone in authority. A born leader. Okay? If they just have getting people to follow after them and follow after them. Who do you suppose Paul? Think, Terry, Vinny, Kim. He might have had that in mind, but his instruction don't really have, because in 1 Timothy 3 verse 4, the word is used to release his family. But whomever he had in mind, they should lead with zeal. What does zeal mean? Wholeheartedness. Enthusiasm, okay? A leader can grow tired and become perhaps careless in fulfilling his duties. Whether he's talking about elders in a congregation or fathers in a home, they need to be us. And as the New Living Translation says, to take the responsibility seriously. Then number 7, a gift. Wow. Faceted gift. For an insight for knowing when people need help, a gift for knowing precisely what kind of help will be most useful, and for supplying that help quietly and without fuss. Few gifts do more good than this one, and yet it often receives the least public recognition. Was that 1 or 2? 2? Okay, I got these actually to be done with children. This actually comes from the word that we get hilarity. Isn't that exciting? It's that that which is prompt or quick to do anything. If you help others with a frown on your face or grudgingly, it can do more harm than good. So at this point, now since Brad got ahead of us, he talked about things we want to do next week. Next week, I want us to look at and find people in the Bible that had these qualities about them, these gifts. Okay?